Hi, and welcome back to Pages and Projects with Liz. I'm here today to do what is likely going to be my last 3-card spread for the Tarot Readathon. So, once again, I am on my final just about book from my last draw. So I'm going to draw again. If I end up being able to read any more after this draw for this readathon, I probably won't end up filming it, just because it's likely to be tight on time between that and when this readathon ends. All right, so once again, I am going to draw 3 cards. And then after I've drawn those 3 cards, I'll draw another card for my potential replacement prompt, go through what the prompts mean, and then find books to work with those. So the first card is the 3 of Cups. My second card is the 10 of Cups. My third card is the 9 of Wands. And then my potential replacement pull is the 7 of Pentacles. So for the prompts, the 3 of Cups is to read a book featuring friendship. If I don't go with that based off of the 3-card draw, I could also read a book that starts with the letter T. Next up, for the cards that I can select between, the 10 of Cups is to read a book featuring found family, belonging, or strong community. And then the 7 of Pentacles is to read a book that will help progress one of your reading goals. Since one of my goals is to read more of my subscription box books, this one's going to be a really easy one. Any of the books that I am attempting to read this month would go ahead and count for that. And then my last card, 9 of Wands, is to read a book with survival elements. So once again, I'm going to look through my physical TBR, and I will try to find books that fit all of those, and I will be right back with those. All right, so I'm back with my picks. For the first one, the 3 of Cups, or a book featuring friendship, I have The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. So this, in the synopsis, mentions that in the army, Malin's hard work brings her recognition, friendship, and a glowing closeness with Sky, a Princeton training partner. So I'm going with that for the friend connection. Next up was the one where I could select between 2 prompts. I did go with 7 of Pentacles, which is to read a book that will help progress one of your reading goals. Even though most of the books I was reading this month, I was trying to read from book subscription box picks from previous years. That is a goal I have already hit this year for the number that I wanted to read. But one of my other goals for this year was to read 50% of the books that have come in this year. And so I am going to read Weaving Shaw by Heba El-Wasiti. So this one has come in this year. It is a fairy loot book, and it is from February of this year. So this will help me towards making sure that I have read 50% of the subscription box books that have come in this year. And for my last book, I had the 9 of Wands, which was to read a book with survival elements. For this one, I am going with The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. So this book, with the synopsis, mentions competing in trials and needing to survive the trials. So I'm going with that for my survival elements. it was interesting to think about the fact that one of the books that I'm finishing up right now for a previous prompt has a trial, and this was not the only book with trial elements that I flipped through. So I could have picked some other ones that also were about surviving different trials. So very much seems to be something that I have quite a few books dealing with. All right, so those are the next 3 books that I have selected with my draws. Again, if I finish these off, I'll likely end up drawing more cards off camera just to help speed it up. There's always a little bit of a delay of trying to find time to go ahead and set up the camera to do the pull. But in my monthly wrap up, I will mention any other books and the cards that I drew that went along with it as part of my review process. Again, if you are taking part in the TBR readathon, I'd love to know what team you're on and what your most recent book pulls were. If you're not taking part in that challenge, I'd love to know, as always, if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. Thanks, and I will see you in my next video.